The first thing I'm going to teach you how to do is how to assemble your gun. So you have your compressor right here. It's kind of heavy, it's silent, and it should be kept on the floor. So this is your airbrush hose. It has two ends. This is one end and this is the other. This side goes into your compressor just like this, right? And this little valve right here. Just screw it in. Make sure it's in tight, because that's where the air flows from. And here's the other side. You just push this a little bit so it sticks up at the top. Grab out your gun and screw that in. Okay, so once you have your airbrush plugged in like this, you're gonna put your compressor on the floor where it belongs and turn it on. So once your compressor is turned on, this is your gun. You hold it like you would hold a pencil, just like this. And this is the trigger up here. You press it down for air and you press it down and back for paint, like this. Okay, so the first thing you wanna do when you apply a tattoo is pick out your paint color. I'm going to use black for now. A lot of guests like black because it tends to look real, but if your guests prefer a different color, we have 10 different colors to choose from. So, there's a little valve right there, and you just make sure it's in very tight. Like this, it shouldn't fall off. If you take your hand off, it should stay itself. Before you apply your tattoo, you want to take some alcohol to remove any kinds of oils, lotions, dirt from the skin. So I'm just going to clean off that part of the arm that you want. Now I'm going to show you how to hold your stencil. So if you have someone's arm like this and the stencil is kind of, you know, on the longer side, if you do it like this, you can see that it flares up and that will mess up your design. So what I do is I start on one side and I hold my stencil like this and I gradually go around so I never really am holding it fully down. So that makes sure that everything is crisp and beautiful. And I'm gonna make sure I'm pressing on her arm firmly so that all the edges get filled in very tight and the paint comes out even. Sometimes when you use a stencil, the ink comes out a little bit too wet, you have excess residue on the sides, and I'm gonna show you how to clean that up. So you can take a Q-tip, dip it in your alcohol, oops, and that will come right off. You can just clean up any spots that you messed up. Okay, so what if your guest hates their tattoo? That's okay, it will come right off. All you do is, again, dip into your alcohol with a cotton pad, and sometimes it takes a couple swipes. You see, it just comes right off. And you can remove the whole thing. I'm gonna use a tattoo that requires 2 colors. It could require 1, but whatever your guest picks. So this is gonna be 2 colors. So this is in nice and tight. I always like to spray some on a napkin just to make sure things are coming out. Great, blue's coming out, we're good. Okay, so I'm taking my stencil, holding it just like this so my fingers aren't touching any part. I've just got sides. I'm gonna go ahead . Okay, I've done some blue in the middle because I want to have some pink or purple wings. So I'm gonna take that off, pull out my blue, replace it. But before I replace it, you always have to make sure to clean it out. because if you're going from pink to purple or pink to black, the colors will mesh and they'll come out brown. So you always have to clean it with your cleaning solution. So it's in a clear case like this. And then again, I'm gonna go in and spray it on the napkin to get all that blue color out. So once your blue ink is cleared out of your gun, you can take out the cleaning solution and switch to the second color you want to use. I'm going to use this pink color. Make sure you shake. Take off the cap. Plug that in. Oops, sometimes it drips a little bit. You can just take a Q-tip and kind of go in and out with it. Now that that's in tightly, I'm gonna take my stencil again and put it right back on top of where it was. Just like that. And now I'm gonna spray the wings. Okay, so here's my 2-color tattoo. Now you want to make sure you apply your glitter while it's still wet. So I'm taking this, sprinkle, and it will come out like this. And since the tattoo is dry, you can take it off, and now it is a glitter tattoo with shimmer. Okay, so this time I'm gonna teach you how to apply a stencil that is not gonna have glitter on it. So instead I'm gonna put powder after, and it's gonna look more like a real tattoo. So sometimes your guests have on fancy clothes, usually they do. So to protect their clothing, I'm taking this black or a napkin or whatever you want really. I'm gonna tuck it in so I don't ruin her shirt. I'm gonna take my stencil, my airbrush gun. Now, it's important to hold your gun maybe, I'd say like 6 or 7 inches away. If it's too close, the gun will shoot out really quickly and it will become wet and the tattoo will ruin. So make sure you have some space. Now, time to apply the powder. There you have it. So now, if you wish to add some more designs or some color, you can take out your Artémix palette, pick the color of your choice. I'm going to choose red. I'm gonna unscrew that. By the way, also, always make sure you wear gloves because this stuff does stain your hands. So I'm gonna take my brush. This is a Filbert 2, and dip it in and just add a pop of color. So as you can see, I've added some rhinestones, 3 dots, and this one is not sticking. Okay, and when that happens, you can take out your body glue and a Q-tip. Just apply some to the spot you wish. You only need a little bit, just like that. Okay. The last thing you want to do after you've applied your tattoo to your guest is give them this care card. It will teach them how to take care of their tattoo and make it last long, so don't forget that. So if you're having trouble with your gun and color isn't coming out, you're pressing, nothing's happening, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna first unscrew the back, like this. One problem could be that the insides are clogged. So I'm unscrewing the back. This is the needle. You're gonna unscrew the little screw like this. If you can tug the needle, it will come out. Look at that. So you can see mine is very green. That means it needs to be cleaned. So I'm just simply gonna take some alcohol, clean that up like this until it's all silver again. Then with the tip going towards the front of the gun, you're gonna put it back in your gun with the pointy side facing to the front. We're just gonna push it back in. It needs a little bit of it. There you go. Make sure you screw back your screw so it's tight. And then you're gonna put the back right back on. Second thing you're gonna do is take a Q-tip, again, put it in some alcohol, and clean the front. With your Q-tip, you're also gonna go ahead and clean the part where the feed goes in. You can just go in upward, downward motion, because you see, sometimes it's a little bit clogged up there. Okay, so you've cleaned your gun. If this problem still is happening, you're gonna take the back off again, and don't press the top, but just pull your needle in and out, and keep spraying until you get the right consistency. So, no ink. Push it in a little bit. There was the problem. Okay, so the first thing you want to do before cleaning your gun is to turn off your compressor. Unscrew the back. Take your needle out. Clean my needle. Down. Can even clean off my gun if there's some excess paint. Next, I'm taking a Q-tip, again dipping in alcohol, cleaning out the feed section, cleaning out the front, and anywhere else that you might see some ink. Always remember to clean your gun right after the party because this ink will harden and it will get gross and yucky, so you want to clean it right away. Don't wait till the next day. Putting my needle back. Screw the screw. Put the back on. And finally, I'm gonna unscrew Once you're done with your gun, you can move on to your top feeds with your airbrush top feeds can. And you're just taking these, because they're all dirty. You can dump them in there. And I'm taking some alcohol or cleaning solution. I'm just gonna pour it in there. You don't have to put a lot, just enough for them to soak so that they declog, and you can leave them in there for a few hours. Close the top. The ink is never gonna come off of this, but you're gonna have some residue from your party, so it is definitely important to remove any kind of wet ink there is. So I'm just, again, with your alcohol. I'm just gonna rub off anything I can rub off before I put it back in my book or in my index box. Just like that.